Shout out Wikipedia.
Never ceases to amaze.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. I had a whole bio here for you. Well, really, there's a lot of stuff online regarding you. Do you know that?
Who cares?
You're right. That's what I say. No, that's my motto as well.
Answer.
How do you pronounce that word?
Which one?
Ufologist.
It's a fake word.
Really?
I never refer to myself that way.
Really?
I'm an emergency doctor, and I run a big research project on this stuff. Began briefing the CIA director for Bill Clinton in 1993.
So when you say that you're actually briefing people
face-to-face meetings with folks like that
about aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, all right.
Wow.
Let's.
So that
okay.
actually-
cut this shit.
That's a
Dr.
big deal.
Greer, where are the aliens?
Yeah, where are they at?
Where are they? Which ones?
No,
Oh,
don't do me like that.
God dang.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are ones that we have captured that through electronic warfare systems
Yo,
that have been down.
This is gonna get crazy. I don't know if
It's
I'm
gonna
ready to
get
go
real
here
crazy.
for this podcast. All right,
No.
first, can we give your credentials before we just dive into talking about UFOs and aliens?
Also,
and
Dr.
flying
Greer, the
saucers?
mic is your friend. You
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I
thing.
hear it. Yeah, I hear it. I hear
There
ya.
you go. There you go.
Okay, so
Hey, how do I turn this? Is a little loud. You can turn this.
Really?
down?
Let's. All right.
Let's get you.
And time out.
Good?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
time in.
I'm not splitting my eardrum now.
we're good now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, all right. So, I mean, who are you?
I'm an emergency doctor,
Ah.
ER. I like to show ER, which I've never seen. But
George
Wait, you're
Clooney?
still to this day?
yeah, I still stay credentialed. I'm not
Okay.
practicing in the ER.
Okay.
I'm working on this problem full time.
Okay.
Which is the biggest national security issue we've ever had.
Which is
And-
what exactly?
Well, there are classified programs that are called unacknowledged special access projects. You can go to Netflix and see the movie Unacknowledged.
Mm.
And that's what it deals with. And those projects are so top secret that routinely the president and people like that get denied access.
Wow.
I discovered that 20 some years ago. So I started a project to identify top secret guys who had the guts to come forward with this information. So we started the Disclosure Project in the 90s. And I now have about 975 of these men and women who've been in classified projects who are on my team. About 110 have come public.
Okay.
You know, a whole bunch of them are on our YouTube site, youtube.com/sdisclosure.
Always plug.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if people want to see it, it's there.
I'm just
We're
happy
not
to know
hiding
what plugging
anything.
was. That's
Yeah, please
incredible.
plug.
For sure.
So you have
So-
975 what we would call either assets or sources.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
assets
Okay,
who are,
cool.
you know,
Or
like
would you call them-
whistleblowers.
or they-
Would you call them
whistleblowers.
snitches? Are they
Oh,
snitches?
wow.
You know,
No.
I mean, I'll just say
Nice,
it. Like,
nice, wow.
is the U.S. government trying to kill them for revealing top secret classified information?
Are they going to go the same way as 6ix9ine is what he's asking.
They would have at one time, like in the
Okay.
90s.
Okay, but now they're safe?
in the 90s, I had 3 people on my team killed, and that's true. I'm not making it up. But you know, at this point, we're not worried about that. There are a lot of folks who really love what we're doing, and it's gotten very public. You know, we've had several 100 million people see this documentary, Unacknowledged, which itself gives you a zone of protection because you're too well known to just be made go and disappear. But most of these people have been in classified projects, and you know, some are corporate, some are CIA, some are Department of Defense, different military.
Laboratories,
My
contractors,
question is-
that kind of
Laboratories,
stuff.
White Oaks, everyone. White Oak Naval Labs
White Oak.
is a really big one that closed down. That had a lot of.
What
these
about Los
technologies.
Alamos? Anything good going on there? Or no. Is
Yep,
that pretty,
yep, it has a compartment. So here's the 101 lesson on classified projects. It doesn't really matter if you have a top secret clearance. It's what compartment you're read into or briefed in. Read into is the proper military
Got it,
term.
okay.
Okay. But so you may have a top secret clearance and you may be the director of the CIA, but if they don't want you to know what's going on in a USAP, an unacknowledged special access project, the unacknowledged ones are the most tightly held ones, and they're actually illegal. So there's a constitutional attorney I'm working with, 2, in fact, Danny Sheehan, who did the Pentagon Papers, and
Oh, yeah.
Iran-Contra and all that. He's on my team, and another guy named Larry Clayton, who is the other side, more conservative. And we're, looking at the legalities of this. So in the late 90s, I wrote to every agency in the government and said, look, we have hundreds of these guys coming forward. I did a briefing for the president and CIA director back then, Clinton, and his first CIA director, R. James Woolsey, and then started doing briefings for people like General Hughes, who was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, and Admiral Wilson, who was the head of the J2, head of intelligence joint staff. All those people had been denied access to these projects illegally. So I said, well, guess what? Since these projects are illegal, you can't enforce their non-disclosure agreements and their national security oaths. So we're vitiating them. We're nullifying them. Bye. Screw you. So I wrote a letter that's basically said, you have to contact us within 30 days or we're going to start releasing those documents and the testimony of these whistleblowers. So we started doing that. Man, that project started in 2001. About 800 million people saw the National Press Club event that we did. The agency contacted a lot of major media and ordered it taken down. But before they could, about 800 million people saw it. So that's what I'm working on. Now people say, why would you bother? Guess what? You ever heard of something called, like climate change and pollution? And
yeah, Spencer knows all
world
about
poverty.
Spencer's a big climate changer. And also Jordan Belfort doesn't believe any of that.
Yeah. Well, who cares? I mean, as that comedian said, I can't fix stupid.
That's what Spencer was trying. Spencer was trying to say that too.
All right, good for you. So, but the fact is, the technologies that are behind, a UFO. There's this forget the word UFO. It's an alternative energy and propulsion device. Some are interstellar and some are man-made. Lockheed Skunk Works out here in California, Northrop Grumman. Huge program.
Yeah.
I know you
responsible for the stealth fighter. A lot of that.
Yeah. Well, U2, like the band U2. That was a Lockheed Skunk Works project. Yeah. So it's huge. So what we decided to do is move this stuff forward with the objective of educating the public on the issue, but also getting these technologies known about and at some point put into place because our civilization's going to hell in a handbasket real fast, frankly. But these sciences and technologies that have been ruthlessly classified and lethal force has been used to keep it that way, those technologies would completely reverse that because you're dealing with sciences. I don't want to bore people with a lot of physics and blah, blah, and then blah, blah. Yeah. But imagine the amount of space in a glass like this. There's enough potential energy in the fabric of space-time called the zero-point energy field to run the entire planet.
Is that like dark matter?
Well, no.
Or completely different?
It's not.
It's I've messed up.
But what I'm saying is that's what these things. These things that are going through interstellar space, they're not carrying Exxon Jet A fuel or a rocket with fuel. They're pulling energy out of the fabric of space-time and they're getting their propulsion and their ability to move that way. So that's been studied since the 40s, frankly.
Oh shit.
And those my uncle worked on the lunar. We just had the 50th anniversary.
How's he doing? How's he doing, by the way?
My uncle's on the other side.
That's
gone.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away.
Sorry about that.
He died 2 weeks after Neil Armstrong, who was the first man to work.
When was that?
Wow.
So a few years ago. I can't remember the year that he passed away, but he was like 92. Had a great life. He encouraged me to do what I'm doing. He was an aerospace engineer at Northrop Grumman, which is like the second biggest aerospace contracting company for the U.S. government. So, here I am. I left my medical career to try to fix this problem. It's an existential question for the planet.
You worked with Clinton. He was the most recent president to have a fascination with UFOs. And he visited Area 51, correct?
All of them would like to have gone there. Look, Area 51 is just a grid on a map. They're really high. Okay, all the people signed the petition.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Here we go. Do you want some actionable intelligence instead of nonsense?
Let's get into it.
Please, spill the beans.
So you want the area at Pahoot Mesa and Groom Lake out there, and S4, S2, S9, and S12. Okay. So, but the places that deal with this issue are deep underground. They're hardened, which means you could drop a tactical nuclear weapon on them. You won't reach the door. Yeah. Yes, correct. Damn. I've been out there, and I have people who worked in those facilities. So, the idea that you're going to, march in there and grab this stuff out is like.
So what you're saying is, yes, they can stop them all, is what you're saying, because their big thing is they can't stop us all. In fact, they can't. That's what you're saying. So these guys are bunker buster. Like, there's no issues with bunker busters, no issues with what's another Moab's multi-ordnance air blast missile. Like so, and then you got 14 people that work at the Walmart in fucking Michigan are gonna march into this place, dude, and they think they're in. What you're saying is it's probably not gonna happen.
No, but the sentiment's great.
Yeah,
so in other words, there are technologies that we, the taxpayers, have spent trillions of dollars developing that are in these classified projects that a bunch of fascists are keeping away from us. It's true. They're fascists. Full stop.
Yeah.
There's a man on my team who's the son of one of the men who founded the CIA, and the grandson of Paul Mellon, the billionaire Paul Mellon.
Yeah, Mellon.
He's on my team. His father was Senator John Warner, and he flat out said, "My entire family are fascists." And I said, "Yeah, well, I know this because."
So let me just define a fascist for.
Go for it.
Go look it
It's
up.
a form of a radical right wing, authoritarian, ultra nationalism characterized by
dictators,
dictatorial power.
Dictatorial.
So forcible dictatorial. Thank you. It's an interesting word. Forcible suppression of opposition. Yes. Which is interesting. I mean, if you think about what Trump,
they just do it. They do it covertly, though. I mean, it's not like they're like going down the street shooting everyone in the head interested in this. They do it covertly and through disinformation, false information.
Who's running? What organization is running the show then?
It's called the Majority Intelligence Committee. I have a document on our website from the National Reconnaissance Office that runs all the super secret spy satellites.
So this is like aside from the government. This isn't part of the U.S. government at all.
Think of a hybrid entity that is part corporate, part government, but so secret that it is running off the radar of most people in government. When people say the government's hiding something, I say the government couldn't find their ass in a well-lighted room with both hands.
I get it.
I mean, seriously, most of the senators, congressmen, other people I've met with, cabinet level folks, they know nothing about this stuff.
So it's like a roided up.
Can I ask you some tactical questions?
Sure.
Blackwater is what I was going to say. Roided up. Remember Blackwater, the contractors that did all the dirty work? Is it similar to that kind of thing? Like they have like a half contractor, half militant.
Yeah, but it'd be a much deeper. It'd be a much deeper cover operation than that.
Like, okay, how did you, as a traumatologist,
emergency doctor
is what I said.
Yeah.
How did you, as an emergency doctor, how do you have the wherewithal and resources and access to find 985 people who worked in top secret classified facilities? And why would they listen to you as their God and almighty leader of the Disclosure Project?
Well, I don't know that I'm that at all, but they understand what our purpose is. And it's people who find me. I don't find them.
How'd you get started? I guess I'm
Well, it's
asking.
a very good question. The way I got started, we're working on a documentary right now.
I saw it. You guys are shooting on an iPhone.
No, that's not what it's going to be. That's just for me walking around.
Okay.
No, it's a good camera shoot. But it's going to, if you go to ce5film.com, you're going to see what we're doing. And it's about humans initiating contact with these civilizations, bypassing the government. All right.
Wow.
So I started a project in 1990 before anyone in this room was alive.
All right, easy.
And sorry.
Easy.
And
okay.
Easy,
I was 5 years old. I just started T-ball.
Hey, good for you.
Great fucking
excellent
T-ball career.
Yeah.
Okay.
He ended up being
really
an all-star.
good.
I batted
He was really good.
batted
Actually,
326 all singles because I
Awesome.
couldn't run. I was only 5. I couldn't run fast enough to get to second base, and the field's the size of this room.
Yeah.
And so if I hit
I'm
the
picturing
long ball,
Mike at 5 years old with his feet the same size they are now.
That's exactly right.
And
That's
hairy.
exactly right.
Very hairy.
No, it never was hairy. Still don't have much hair on my legs, dude.
That's good.
It's like
Oh,
a-
he does it. I've
a
seen him.
swimmer. It's
Smooth as a
weird.
baby's
Yeah.
buttocks.
Yeah, it's weird.
Anyways.
Yeah, sorry about that little
And
side note.
we're
there.
back.
I mean, we can have fun. By the way,
I love having fun.
Let's also let's do something really quick.
I'm an emergency
Let's
doctor,
spice
yeah.
this up.
Let's do it.
We're wild men.
Let's bring the whole vibe of this show up a little bit because we don't live here. We don't live down at this 2 level. We live at about a 9 to a 10.
Yeah.
Do aliens get haircuts?
Well, the ones that have hair, I'm sure do.
Okay, fair enough.
But
That
Fair enough.
makes sense.
But I'm picturing aliens as some like super hyper advanced civilization who have somehow found a way to keep their hair perfect no matter where they are. What
do we
doing.
know? What do we know?
How many species of aliens are there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the first thing you said. You're like, I said, where are the aliens? You said, which ones?
Yep.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure there's several thousand species. Now, I know that there's a facility out in the desert near Tombstone, Arizona, called Fort Huachuca. It's Army Intelligence Headquarters. I've been out there. I've known a couple of the heads of Army Intelligence, and there's a dumb out there, deep underground military base that has 9 ET craft and autopsy bodies. I knew guys who worked in that facility. 9 different craft, and they're from different civilizations. So, there are all these stereotypes of this. It's like the big bug-eyed thing. But that's not what it is. That's just all the caricatures that idiots put out. Media, the mass media put out to sort of ridicule it. But when to get back to your question, when I started this project in 1990, it was really for people to do what's called close encounters of the 5th kind, which is when humans initiate the contact. And within a couple years, we had 4 of these ET craft pop in near Pensacola, and it was on the front page of the paper.
Why
Next
would
thing I
anyone go to
know, it's like
Pensacola?
knock. Well, there was a whole lot of activity there that was being documented. So my team went down there.
I go to Pensacola sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, but I only
Not
go.
much going on.
I'll tell you what I go for. There's a store in Florida called Publix. And I get what's called a pub. I get what's called a pub sub.
Yeah.
It's like I get a
You
chicken
think that's what
cutlet
they're
pub
dropping
sub.
in from Planet
I
Zangar
would
to get
say,
a pub
and
sub?
it's weird too because it's like a supermarket. Like when's the last time you went to the store for a sandwich? Usually go to a deli, right? But kids love their pub subs.
And apparently
dude. Aliens.
I wonder if we have an advanced technology called Publix that is attracting these aliens.
It's possible.
Should we
I'd say it's possible.
should we get back on track? You think?
I don't know that we got off track.
I think we have something called thermonuclear weapons that are tracking them over.
All right. Wow.
So let's get to if you want to talk some real shit.
So once we started creating nuclear weapons, that's when they started showing up, right? They're like, "Yo, you guys are idiots."
Is that what it is? You guys,
because we were they were looking at us as a real problem. At that point.
They're like, y'all are idiots.
Yeah.
Y'all
everyone's always afraid of the aliens. I said, no, it's the other way around. We're a bunch of rampaging monkeys with thermonuclear weapons, thousands of them aimed at each other, and then going out into space with them. Hello. I mean, it doesn't take Einstein's IQ even to figure out that problem.
So there's a bunch of stories of UFOs. I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's UFOs that will missiles are about to get launched, and then all the systems will just go down.
That's in our disclosure project archive. That we
there's a lot of these kind of stories.
The ICBMs at Minot, North Dakota, there were 18 intercontinental ballistic missiles went offline at the same time. Really cool. And what they were saying, they weren't a threat. They were saying, look, don't blow up this beautiful planet, but if you do a mutual assured destruction all-out launch, we can take a lot of them offline so the Earth isn't destroyed. That's why they're here. Wow. They're here to sort of be a check to the madness of what's been going on for 70 years on this planet.
Why? So my thing is, why doesn't one of these aliens cruise by in his space coupe, roll down the window and say, yo, guys, we're up here. We're chilling. Like, why doesn't one of them let us know?
But just the language that they use is more like this.
See, and how are we going to decipher that?
How are we going to decipher that?
Yeah, but your question is assuming something that hasn't happened that has happened.
It just hasn't happened for us. On Impulsive.
Sounds like
so you personally, but I mean, did you ever go up on a rocket and walk on the moon?
Not yet.
Are you considering?
But we went there.
I'm considering it.
We're being sued by someone.
Have you seen Buzz Aldrin punch that guy in the face?
Oh, no, I didn't see him punch the guy.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
I do know what he saw when we landed, but he can't talk about it. His sister confirmed it too.
What
moon base?
What's going on right now?
When we landed on the moon, there was around that crater above where we landed, there were multiple ET craft that were just hovering there watching. And that is true. That's 100% true.
Whoa, hold the phone.
This ain't good.
Whoa.
Or maybe it is.
They're just checking them out.
Yep.
Like an audience.
They were going, that's interesting. These guys are up here, and it's like 1969. The Cold War is going on, and the Apollo mission was a militarized operation competing with the Soviet Union. So we were viewed as trying to go into space in a divisive and war-making way. I mean, the space program ostensibly was civilian, but it was really a proxy for the Cold War. That's the truth.
Right.
So you're telling me when Buzz Aldrin stepped on the moon, he saw 5 extraterrestrial aircrafts.
Well, I think there were more than that. I think
just watching him take his first step on the moon.
Well, actually, Neil Armstrong was the first.
No, his first step. By the way,
watched him Buzz take his first step.
Yes, Buzz Aldrin was second. My uncle was involved with that because he helped design the lunar module that carried them there. But that footage, highly classified. They say they've lost it. NASA. Did you see that in the news not long ago? We lost the original footage from the moon landing. I mean, the most important event in the history of mankind. We just lost it. My dog ate the homework. I mean, it's
my
nonsense.
dog does eat the homework. We discovered
love
that
your
could totally be
dogs.
true.
They're
Oh, you've
beautiful.
seen her?
Yeah,
She
they're
eats
beautiful.
everything. She ate my bird, actually.
Oh, well, that's not so great.
And by the way, I'm sad.
That's
about
bad.
Oh,
It's very sad.
Thanks for the clarification, Mike.
Well, because some people thought it wasn't,
that's
right?
hey, that's wild. That is wild. I have
we
a
ain't
question.
got started yet. We
No,
got
I know.
lots.
And this,
Yeah,
I'm
how do you lose that
fascinated.
footage?
No,
Like,
you don't.
that's not a memory card. You just like.
That's what he's saying.
That's ridiculous.
There's
Yeah,
no such thing as a memory card back then.
I know,
Got
but
news
like,
for you.
I know that's not the little bugaboo like nowadays where you drop a memory card and you messed up a vlog moment like I have.
Bro, can you
before.
imagine? Can you imagine you're landing on the moon? How would I describe it? I was gonna say planet. It's not a planet. Can you imagine you're landing on the moon and you look across the way and there's things watching you?
Yeah.
That's fucking scary.
But they knew beforehand.
Well,
And
you can
here's
do
why.
what? Have you seen the picture of them at the press conference when they got back? That you can tell they're just like, "Yo, this like
We're freaked out.
we're freaked out. We want to say something."
so why could he not say anything?
Well, I invited Neil Armstrong to the Disclosure Project event at the National Press Club, and his really good friend of his, who was on my team, said he was informed that he, his wife, his kids, and his grandkids would all be killed if he did that. That there was someone way or another they'd end up in accidents or something. And that's true. It's really serious stuff. I know we're joking around a lot, but so I said, well, look, I'm not. I understand the pressure a man like that's under. So we'll have some other people there. So.
Like, yeah, you think they'd be stoked, and then they like, I mean, they're not looking too happy there.
That is wild.
No,
So what about Buzz? Has Buzz hit you up, or have you
Buzz hit you?
Has Buzz hit you?
Has he
up?
punched you in the face yet?
No, because look, I don't force anyone to go further than where they're comfortable. I understand this. My military advisor was in one of these unacknowledged projects, and he understood that lethal force has been used to enforce secrecy on that, and it was a very dangerous thing back some years ago when we first started this. Now I don't worry about it, but we got people that have our backs. I won't say more than that, but
Are we at risk for having had you on the show? Would you say?
No.
I mean,
absolutely not.
because
Zero.
I'll be honest with you, I'm finally getting a little wind in my sails here, and the last thing I want to do is get sniped.
Yeah, don't worry
By
about
some
it.
sort of
He's starting to
fucking-
graduate the micro influencer.
Yeah, moving on to the next
category.
level.
Yeah, check it out.
It's a big time.
Logan's got something here.
Ever thought of saying I misrepresented away from me? You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Oh, shit! He gave him a good little jack there, dude.
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz for
that
the
dude
win,
up.
dog.
That's what happens when you see 5 aliens staring at you on the moon.
Yeah.
He's getting fiery.
I mean,
stressed
wouldn't
out.
you do the same thing if you went up to the moon, you risked your life, and you get down and some guy approaches you like that? I'd pop him right in the jaw too.
Well,
I don't even think I need that big of a reason.
I mean, imagine the stress these guys are under. They've seen amazing stuff. I mean, I've worked with hundreds of these men and women who've been in these projects, and they have a kind of PTSD, honestly, seriously, because they have information of seen things that's earth-shattering, amazing, and they cannot speak about it. What we've tried to do is create a forum where they can, and we spent about 5 years getting the legality of this worked out, so that if anyone on my team is threatened, then the people who do that will get arrested.
Okay.
Yeah, but how are you going to
so-
arrest somebody in the majority Continental Ballistics Army office group? You know what I'm
the
saying? Like, these
Majority
people are-
Intelligence Committee,
Yeah, like
MAJIC.
The cop's
Yeah.
going to go to arrest them, and the cop's arm is going to detach from his. But like these guys
No.
are ultra assassins.
Well, that's true. I mean, the covert wet works, they're called wet works
Yeah.
for wet blood. It's called
Yeah.
wet works. All right, that's the proper name. They're not going to pull a stunt like that now. At one time, it would have been risky because there are people who are, really want to see this happen now. You're beginning to see stuff in the New York Times and CNN about all this. Although with the sort of the militaristic spin, there's a threat from outer space. Yeah, right. They come millions of light years through space, and there's stuff here they just have to have, right? No.
Yeah, what do we even
that's fake.
have?
That's totally fake.
Chick-fil-A. Planet's
Yeah,
going
exactly.
to shit. We already destroyed it. They don't want the planet.
They-
We got a bunch of shit political figures. They
Most
don't want them.
most of the spin on this is just created to divert people from the truth.
So again, I just want to get tactical because I like these real specific questions.
Sure.
You said, what did you call the underground thing? Bombs?
DUMBs.
DUMBs, deep underground
DUMBs?
military bases, or just a UGB underground.
How does one get there? Is there like an elevator? Is there like a staircase?
There are approaches from the ground that then go in, that are hardened that go down. There are also underground connectors. You can go from Edwards Air Force Base to Area 51 completely underground, never surface. Yeah.
So okay, so if one is
That's true.
if one's to work there, do you go to work like a 9 to 5, and it takes you how long to get into the middle of the desert? Or are you stationed there for weeks, months at a time?
Usually they go out for a period of time, maybe a week or two, and then they're ferried back on an aircraft to wherever they live, and the windows are blackened out on that aircraft.
How can they trust the people they're hiring? Like we have people sign NDAs when they come in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like an extreme form of an NDA?
Well, it's usually, yes, they have that. It's a 70-year one.
Yeah, you can't.
70 years. But the way they really do it is intimidation. I'll tell you, my military advisor was in a USAP, Unacknowledged Special Access Project, and he, they took him into an underground facility and took away their, watches, phones, everything. There was one man who went down who had a pistol. He was the security officer for this unacknowledged project. It was a $3 billion project. Nobody had any record of it, not Congress, not the president.
Whoa. And so where does that money come from, real quick?
Well, let's answer one thing first.
All right.
And so they go down there, and this guy takes a bullet out of the clip and says, this bullet has your name on it, and if you speak to anyone about this project that's not in this room, it will find you, and you're a dead man walking. So that is not a conspiracy. That is how that is enforced. Now, and that means that if the commanding general, let's say you're in the USAP and you're a colonel,
yep,
but there's a general that's the head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, like the guy I briefed who was an admiral, and he asks you about this, you are to turn to him and say, sir, you don't have a need to know. And that is what happened. If you look at the leak that just came out about Admiral Wilson's briefing, that the sixth man to walk on the moon, Edgar Mitchell and I did with some of my people in 1997, Admiral Wilson states that he tried to find out and he was threatened. They actually threatened to take a star off of him, take one of his, demote him. So he couldn't find out, even though he was their boss. These USAPs were under his purview, his supervision, allegedly. But he was basically told, go jump in the lake. And so that happened before I got to the meeting, because I'd given him all these top secret documents we have. That one of them was this NRO document that had the name of the organization keeping the secrets, the Majority Intelligence Committee, MAGIC. And he was basically told, we're not going to tell you anything. And so, this made him, by the time I got to the meeting with Edgar Mitchell, who was this amazing guy, PhD, sixth man to walk on the moon, brilliant man. The admiral was furious, but scared. I mean, he was kind of freaked out. He's going, what the hell's going on? And he says, who else have you briefed where this has happened to them? I said, well, the CIA director and the Senate Intelligence Committee members and the President of the United States. So he came to realize that these unacknowledged special access projects were completely illegal.
Yeah,
and they are. They're illegal.
You talked about
it's a criminal enterprise.
You talked about the 70-year confidentialities agreements, which I think a lot of people know about, where these programs remain secret for 70 years, right? 70, 75 years, whatever it is. Just I think a lot of people are looking forward to 2043 for JFK documents.
Still won't happen.
Do these USAP programs fall under a special category that there will be no release of classified documents at any time, whether it's 70 years later, 100 years later, 1,000 years later?
Well, here's the problem. I'll give you an example of how screwed up this is. I had this almost 3-hour meeting with the sitting CIA director, and I have this white paper.
The sitting CIA director now?
No, the one for Clinton. I've done others since.
Yep.
But he says, and I said, look, we really need you to do an executive order with the president to disclose and declassify this stuff. And he looked at me. He says, how do we disclose that which we have no access to? We don't have access. How do we disclose it? I said, well, you get access. He says, we've tried. They won't give us. So this is how.
Who's the government attaché that makes decisions on access as it pertains to these special access programs? Like, there's got to be someone.
Yeah, there's a committee. I just named it, the Majority Intelligence Committee.
And so they operate rogue from the rest of the government. There's no oversight whatsoever.
Not the way you were taught in high school about
no Senate Special Intelligence Committee involvement.
There may be a couple senators that know, but they're there to misinform their fellow senators.
Counterintelligence.
There are some generals and other flag officers, meaning admirals, generals, who know they are told to basically lie to their brethren. So the way this works is, again, if you're not read into a project that's an unacknowledged project, you're not going to find out about it, and it has nothing to do with your rank. Now, there have been CIA directors who know. For example, Papa Bush, Senior, you know, W's father, who just passed away. He was on that committee, and when he was CIA director, very interesting story. We have people who worked with Carter the first year he became president. And Carter turned to outgoing CIA director Bush, the senior, and said, I want to be briefed on the UFO matter, because he had seen one near Fort Benning when he was governor of Georgia. I have his report for him from President Carter. And Bush turned to him and said, I'm not going to tell you anything. Go get it from the Congressional Research Service, and blew him off. This is the incoming president of the United States. That is a true story. Have multiple people who are involved with that are in our disclosure project with their testimony, including the constitutional attorney, Daniel Sheehan, Harvard guy who did the Pentagon Papers and all that. So he had actually gotten approached by people working with Carter to try to find if he could get information through other channels, and eventually saw some secret information that he provided. But Carter, trying to get that information from outgoing CIA. So people say, well, why did that CIA director know and others haven't? I said, has nothing to do with your rank. It has to do with whether they turn to you and say, are you willing to go along with a project that is being run this way, which is illegal, and to keep away from the public this information, and to keep secret the technologies that would terminate oil, gas, coal, and nuclear power? Zing. It's a multi-$100 trillion issue. I mean, the secrecy behind this has nothing to do with aliens. It has everything to do with the petrodollar and $1,000 trillion in assets that would go goodbye, because these things, I get back to what we said a few minutes ago, these objects aren't running on fossil fuels or nuclear power.
Is this an Illuminati? Does Illuminati exist?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are groups and little clubs of 33rd degree Masons. I'm friends with some. Burl Ives, who was an actor and singer, was on. He was a 33rd degree Mason. He didn't know anything about this stuff. I was the source for stuff for him.
Does this clearance that you talk about exist completely outside of, what are the three clearance levels? What is it? SQ and L clearance? Like, is it completely outside of top secret? You know,
well, there are only three. There's confidential, secret, and top secret. And then in top secret, you have SCI, special compartmented information. And then from those special access projects, there are zillions of them. And the ones that are really sensitive are the unacknowledged special access projects that have cover under other special access projects. It's like the middle of a stinking onion. It's like covered and covered and covered. It's deep in there. So the fact that, you know, someone may be read into one special access project that's top secret by no means means, and they'll get into another. In fact, even if you're in one unacknowledged special access project, it doesn't give you clearance to another one. So I've met one person who's on my team who had baseline clearance across 18 of these unacknowledged special access projects, and he just came forward about a year ago.
And
he was
what'd you find out?
It's mind-blowing stuff.
Like,
well, he was assigned to the TMO, which is the Technology Management Office, sub-basement of the Pentagon. And he was tasked with, for example, there was a security breach at an underground facility near Fort Sill, Lawton, Oklahoma, where there's an extraterrestrial vehicle that we're studying that we had downed with an electronic weapon back in the 80s. We're trying to figure out how these things sort of, quote, cloak, where they can materialize, dematerialize right in front of you. Which my team that goes out has seen this. So I have photos of it. So cool. Anyway, amazing.
Can we see some photos?
Well, I mean, go to our website. You know, I don't have
photos of.
I didn't bring a photo file with me.
What's the site?
What's your website?
SeriousDisclosure.com.
It's on a shirt.
Yeah.
It's on a shirt.
Oh, it's this. Yeah.
There we go. Have we put cloaking technology? So cloaking technology, for people watching, what that means is they're able to materialize the environment around them, correct? To blend in with what's happening around them, right? So they could look like the sky, the tree, whatever, right? Is that what cloaking technology is?
Well, it's actually a little more complex than that.
Okay.
It's actually a very high energy physics where electromagnetic shift happens, meaning that not shift, S-H-I-F-T.
Right. Night shift.
Shit happens too.
Yeah.
Where these objects, let's say you put an electromagnetic field around this glass, and it can actually resonantly shift out of 3D into a nearby dimension. So it's actually right there, but it's outside the physical 3D realm. So this gets into what are known as transdimensional. No, it's not camouflage.
So I was way off.
You're way off. Yeah.
You're saying that. So this alien technology cloaking is actually a unit moving between dimensions to camouflage.
Hey, look, you're not going to go from one star system to another in a solid form. You're going to have to shift.
You got to turn into Jello.
Like no, you're going to turn into something that approximates a ghost. You know, it's not a ghost, but it approximates a ghost.
I think it's interesting because
you want to hear the technology part of this? Your minds are going to melt and come out of your nose.
I want my mind to melt and come out of my nose.
It's like, that's what I was going to say.
Go.
So that's what we're dealing. Actually, this next film, the CE5film.com that we're working on, it's crowdfunded, by the way. All these documentaries are done, no corporations, no big money. It's all the people. We have 5,000 people that for unacknowledged who donated funds. We're doing everything independently, maintaining control of it that way. No corporate shill can go in and say, take this out. We'll say, nope. We're not taking anything out.
Are you homies with Bob Lazar?
How do you feel about Bob Lazar?
Bobby, we call him Bobby L.
I met him years ago in the 90s. He saw something. I don't think his physics are spot on. However, he said
the UFOs fly belly up. Sounds a little weird to me, man.
No, belly.
No, on the side.
Belly. That's what I mean.
Forward.
Like belly forward. Yeah.
They can. They don't have to. They don't have to.
Hip forward.
They can move in any angle. They control for 1G, one gravity force in any angle.
How do you know that?
Because I work with hundreds of people who have this down to the equations.
Have they seen?
Here's the tragedy. If these technologies could begin to come forward, we'd have a civilization with no poverty or pollution or global warming very quickly. But think of the stakeholders. Every public utility, I don't need you. All the oil and gas, all the nuclear, all that stuff. Even that stuff, we think, oh wow, it's a radio frequency which we had in the 1800s, right?
Yeah.
Your smartphone, iPhone, whatever. It's really a piece of junk. All right, so the technologies that are really advanced have been all classified, and I call this the lost century. There's 100 years of development of our civilization that's been stolen from us, and I'm expecting my 9th grandchild in September, and I go. And I go, what kind of world are we leaving to my children that are your guys' age?
Really
my
hot
grandchildren.
Really hot one.
Yeah, a hot one and one that's collapsing so we can fix it. Here, I tell people, there's so many people who are hopeless. I say, don't be hopeless. We have amazing stuff that are technologies that have already been developed. They've got to be liberated from the hands of these misanthropic nut jobs who have been controlling these projects.
Have any members of your team seen the aliens?
Oh, yeah.
What do they look like? What do they look like?
So, I don't know if someone on my team has this cool picture of this ET that popped into, we were doing a CE5, which is when we initiate contact a couple years ago in Arizona.
Which is this video right here, correct?
And some of these are,
the top one,
kinds of cool
the small
stuff.
one up
Go
at top.
back to the little bean. Oh, this was in Joshua Tree. We're going to go back there in October. You should come. You'd love it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Have you seen this? This is crazy. They meditate or do something, and these.
It's called remote viewing.
Remote viewing.
The military, CIA had a program for still has a program.
This is when you initiate contact.
Yeah.
Should I skip ahead or is this? Whoa, what's happening?
I don't know. There may be another object here, but
And so, what do y'all do?
Look at this cool thing.
Whoa.
There are two. This is like late at night. We have a special camera, and there are two objects that come in off the coast of Florida that are there.
I've seen some things at Joshua Tree as well.
Yeah, it's cool out there. Beautiful.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was on acid.
And that ain't count.
I'll just be straightforward with you. But I saw some UFOs that night.
I'm
completely
sure.
unidentifiable.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Absolutely crazy.
So wait, so y'all, what do you do to initiate contact to get these lights to show up and be lights?
Well, you're not going to like the answer.
Oh shit.
We got to sacrifice one of our pets.
I know something's going up in Orpheus.
Should I?
Yeah, do we? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, that's what this next documentary is all about. And
I hope it's not what he just said.
No. It's about the science of consciousness.
Okay,
So think about it. All of us are awake. And the physicists have figured out that even though our individualities are different, that the field of consciousness is a singularity. That is the singularity everyone's looking for in AI. So this has been known for years and years and years in classified projects, and that's why the CIA had a big program using consciousness to spy on the Soviet Union, sort of like, psychic spies. But what we're doing is that we're using consciousness and in the meditative state to remote view where these ET objects are, and then make contact with them and show them where we are mentally, and then with lasers and electromagnetic signals.
See, this is where I start.
No, yeah,
this is where I start to have trouble.
Yeah,
I know. Everyone's going to have trouble.
No, listen, because now you're speaking Spencer's language, and me and him have gone back and forth this a few times.
Well, there's a lot of documents that have been disclosed about people
about the flat Earth.
who remote view very specific buildings, structures, everything, numbers, people in rooms from across the planet.
No, there's no question.
The military's been studying this for a long time.
Well, Stanford Research International, SRI, had a huge program for years doing this, and the scientific studies are dispositive. They prove this. The question is, back this up. Even the mainstream media is admitting now these UFOs are real. Our military's been encountering them. How do you think they're communicating from, say, the Andromeda Galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years from here, and Earth? At the speed of your cell phone, that's 2.5 million years to get a signal there, 2.5 million years back.
I think that's what Sprint's running right now.
Okay, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it takes 2.5 million years to do anything. So that's 5 million years round trip to the nearest galaxy to the Milky Way. All right, so it's too slow. So you're dealing with sciences and technologies that are interfacing with other fields of not only energy, but thought. So these civilizations think to their device, and it does something.
I knew
they think to their console, and the spacecraft goes boing boing to one point to another.
What's that thing called? The neural? What's
Neuralink?
Yeah, Neuralink.
Yeah, everyone on this planet who are high tech are trying to go there, and there's some great work. If you look at Dr. Radin's work, a lot of physicists have done studies with photons and with random number generators that generate numbers randomly, with people thinking to them and it shifting. So if you look at the science on that, it's really, really strong. And that's what we're going to connect some dots in this next documentary, where we go from, okay, here's the evidence they're here. Here's the false information everyone's been told. But here's actually what their technologies are doing and how we can initiate contact. Because what I think we have to do, instead of 1 million people charging the gates at Area 51, we need to have millions of people going out under the desert and making contact with these civilizations. Whoa. It's the equivalent of a cosmic denial of service to these classified projects.
Like 1 million people meditating at one time.
1 million people doing this and go bang. And then all of a sudden, if you look, we have 40,000 people right now on my team around the world doing this, and they're having these close encounters all over the world. Amazing stuff.
But what's the actual practice when you're meditating? Like, do you hum a certain way? Do you stand up, sit down?
Sound bowls?
Yeah, whatever fires your rockets, honey.
Really?
Do whatever you want.
Okay, my answer is there are certain techniques that help. There's mantras, there's this and that. But I had a friend here as a doctor here in LA, and she used to play the harp as a hobby, and she would get into this state of consciousness that was this deep, quiet state of consciousness, and would have these beautiful experiences where she could sense another place, have high intuition. So that was her mantra, was her harp. So I tell people, if there are 7-8 billion people on this planet, there are 8 billion spokes into the hub of the wheel of life, which is this quiet state of consciousness that's unbounded in space and time.
Dr. Greer,
and that's beautiful. I mean, and so, but there are certain techniques that help. And, I teach people that. Before I was a doctor, I was a meditation teacher.
Oh, cool. What? Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was one of the original, like Louise Hay of Hay House. She was one of my students.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question? I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. What's the point of it? And here's why I ask.
The point of what?
Just of communicating with them, right? So, for example, I know that there's somebody in Kuwait right now. Yeah. They're probably having a good day, kicking the soccer ball around, right? I don't necessarily want to fucking talk to them. I'm sure they're there, but I got a good cheeseburger I could eat. I got shows I could watch. We could play football outside, rake leaves, all kinds of shit. Okay. So why am I going to go out to the middle of the desert with a harpist and a random number generator to try to make contact with an intermolecular majority conference being? Do you hear what I'm saying right now? Like, why?
Well, that's not what we're doing.
I don't even call my fucking grandmother Dr. Greer. She's 90 years.
Give her a call,
I
man.
will. But I'm just saying, like, why do I want to talk to Bleep Blork and Deep Dop from fucking Channel 76 Igork?
Because if we don't, then who the hell will? You've got.
I don't know.
Well,
It's like you're driving a wagon and you're like, oh, this is the shit. Why would I need anything else? And then a Lamborghini passes you. You're like, what the? What is that?
Well, I just take another bite of my burger.
Like there's
like what? Like wagons.
You're gonna be the guy on the wagon eating a burger, watching a Lamborghini go by you.
Because you want to know why? Because you want to know why? Because say we do drive wagons. I got hot chicks, Instagram thoughts in my wagon. I got great food, and now I got a cool audience of people watching. So what do these guys got? They don't even have. Some of them don't even have arms.
Yo,
they have tentacles.
They probably.
They may have hotter chicks than we.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Whoa.
That's what I was gonna say.
Shit.
They have to.
What?
They have to.
See,
and
now
they
you're
can take them
speaking
to,
my
they can
language.
take them to, hey, you want to go to Tea Garden Beach? Check out the waterfall I just found.
Yo,
yeah, let's go.
God.
They're there.
Bucket list.
That's
I
lit.
wanna have sexual intercourse
On
with
Tea
an
Garden.
alien.
Yes.
That is awesome. Do
Can
you know
you
anyone that's
imagine-
done that?
No.
Well, listen, look, I'm not gonna let you off the hook. I do want to know
It's a
what
first
the
for
aliens
everything.
look like.
All right. Well, the one, for example, that healed this man's hearing, who was in our circle, sort of very triangular head, about 5.5 feet tall. This is going to be in this next documentary. He popped in transdimensionally from as an ET being. Popped in, we saw this red light come right into our circle, and then a photograph taken, and this ET is standing right beside this man, and he had permanent hearing loss since he was a teenager, and he was fixed that night by this ET. That's a true story. It's a beautiful story.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. The ET was about 2 feet from me, 3 feet from me, and so it's the photograph of it is beautiful. But the experience that this man had was more beautiful.
Well, you have a photo of the experience?
Of the ET? Yes.
Well, I've
That's
actually
gonna be in the
got a photo of him here too, just so you guys know. You said he had a triangle head.
No,
And
not
it was,
that one.
Andre, if you could zoom in really quickly, you guys
that's
may
your
know.
stuffed toy from
His
when you
name's
were
actually
like 3.
Tinkly Winkly from the Teletubbies.
Yo, wait,
He's got a
hold
Oh,
on.
Teletubby.
What's the photo? Is it
That's
of the
right.
red light or is it of the ET?
It's of the ET.
Yo, what are you saying?
Can we just see
Where can we get this photo?
Can we just see
Somebody
it?
pull it up and you show.
I like how he clapped
Not like
for it.
this.
I
Oh
love
my
this.
God.
like this,
I got
bro.
a tingly sensation in my balls.
Bro, you
right
were
now.
tinkly
Do you
winkly.
too? Does that just me?
I don't want to be affected today. I didn't think I'd be affected today. I might be.
Wow.
I don't want it like this.
Woo!
No,
So-
bro. No.
No, people make all these assumptions about a civilization that they think they're got to be just like us. But look, if you meet someone in Japan, they're really different from someone in the Congo or Italy. So we're dealing with civilizations that are 100,000 to a few million years ahead of us. So the way that they're going to appear in and out of our space time.
Unfathomable is like a word that I feel like is appropriate.
No, it's fathomable, but
How
we have to damn catch up, because if people had known the truth about this 50, 60 years ago, we wouldn't be, like in kindergarten still.
We're obsessed with the double gluck gluck. Can you imagine what alien girls are doing out there? The quadruple, the quintuple gluck
Or do
gluck?
they have self-respect? Like on a
Hell no. Hell no, dude. No. They're millions of years ahead of us. Look how our self-respect trajectory is going.
Oh, you're
they're
right.
already, bro, they're doing all kinds of
Dylan,
things,
you're
dude.
holding the photo
Dylan,
off
what's good?
screen, and I need to see it.
Yeah, we want to see this ASAP.
He's like, that looks really
Dylan,
cool.
just let Dr. Greer explain
It's
it to
not the
us.
original. Well, this is a civilization a number of people have seen.
What are you doing?
Oh,
And
do you think Dylan, our producer, could be an alien? Is that possible?
no,
Kind of looks like one.
Thanks, bro.
No, it's in a good way.
All right, what's going on here? What is this? What am I looking at? You've seen this.
so that blackened area is sort of a bubble in space-time, and you can see the people on either side of him. We just turned up the contrast, and there's his head is partially in the scatter field of the pixelation, but
He looks
you
like
see his-
Groot.
Yeah, zooming up. There it is. Yeah, so he's very large head, sort of triangular shaped, has a sort of a cloth tunic that's lit up. He's holding some object, and this man right next to him to the left of how you're looking on the ET's right had his hearing healed. So I mean, you say, oh, there's a wacky story. It's a beautiful story. It just happened a couple years ago.
Hold on, I'm gonna be selfish. No. You want me to show the people?
Yes. Are you ready for this?
Nope. I'm keeping this one to myself.
Show the fucking world.
You're just like all the presidents, man.
Show
Look
the
at
people.
this. I'll give you guys a quick explanation. Right in the middle of all these multicolored gumballs, there's a man with an exploding lava head. You can see it right here. That's the lava that's in the mashed potatoes.
Thank you for that scientific analysis.
Hold on. Let me zoom out a bit. This is that's how it looks zoomed out.
Actually, that's an actual ET extraterrestrial that came into our CE5 circle in Arizona.
So you boosted the contrast around the image.
Yep.
And what are all these colored dots?
Oh, you're just turning up the contrast is all. But you can see in the original one, you see him there without all the
Why does it look like he's in a little TV?
It's interesting because that's like a space-time bubble. It's black there, and that's the energy field that they can teleport in. I know this sounds like Star Trek or something, but some of the stuff in science fiction isn't so far off from the fact, and it's a little cheesy. But this is the real thing. This is unretouched, not Photoshop.
Holy shit!
And you know who took this?
Alex Jones.
No, David Marconi. You know the movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith?
Yeah.
He's on my team. He took this. He has some awesome camera
When
equipment.
he snapped that photo, was our alien friend pissed?
No.
He doesn't get all mad.
And it's just
like
one photo, no
paparazzi.
video?
We do have video of other events that are made. That's what this next documentary is going to be.
Gonna be crazy.
Like dozens and dozens of images and videos like this from our contact experiences. Because what we want people to do is say, all right, we're not dependent on Trump or the Pentagon or the CIA or 10 Downing Street to release this information. We can go directly to these civilizations, show a side of humanity that's not idiotically militaristic and myopic, and make contact directly. It's like a cosmic civil disobedience we need to do. But instead of storming the gates of Area 51, where you're just going to get blown up, go out wherever you live all over the world and initiate contact with these civilizations. That's the next big step here, and it's something where we have to empower ourselves to take back this issue out of the classified project. It's very much, I was involved in the civil rights movement. I'm old enough to remember those days, the black and white water fountains where I grew up in North Carolina. I was almost murdered for having a black girlfriend in 1972.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, really. So now we're at this next stage where we're going to have to, go get past all that nonsense and realize.
Bath salts, did you say? Oh, past all the nonsense. Oh, sorry.
Past all the nonsense.
Dylan has a
Past all the
question.
nonsense.
What's the question?
Dr. Greer, if you would like out that photo on the screen for the audience
At the
with
Challenger
your
Games.
permission.
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
Oh,
It's going to come out anyway.
you gotta be kidding me.
Wow, it's an exclusive.
I'm
Yeah.
Logan's MacBook.
So
Just give us credit for it.
So
But-
aliens have been around for a while, right? Like aliens, a lot of people believe that aliens came in and altered our DNA.
Well, I like to say ETs instead of aliens
Okay,
because
ETs.
people think you're talking about someone who's come in from, Guatemala.
So are you? So really?
I mean, it's really
Oh,
confusing.
okay. Confusing. I
All
thought
right,
you were
yeah,
starting to
yeah.
get into like the social justice shit for aliens.
No, no,
right?
no,
Like,
no,
are we
no.
becoming-
They don't like being
They don't
called
like
that
being called that
in 2019.
Okay. It's 2019.
So the ETs, certainly there's evidence. For example, there's a cave etching and drawing in France. It's 5,000 years old. That looks exactly like a UFO with these ETs outside of it.
Stop.
They found one in India. Oh yeah, you can look this up. So I don't think there's ever been a time where the Earth hasn't had some kind of surveillance or involvement with advanced civilizations from elsewhere. I think when things really got intense was right around the end of World War II when we detonated
That's
the
where all
first
the cool
atomic
shit
bomb.
started, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the whole quote Roswell event. Well, that actually did happen. But guess what? Roswell, New Mexico at that time was the only atomic bomb squadron on Earth.
Really?
It was the only, and that's why they were there. They were going, what are these primates doing? We're about to blow up the whole planet with this stuff.
Do you think there's going to be a situation in the upcoming, call it 20, 30 years, where we are going to need to kind of hybridize and create the first sexual encounter between a male human
That's what I'm
species?
saying. I want it to be
Because I
me.
want to volunteer. Can I shine? Can I fuck? Like, you get all the hottest Instagram thoughts. You take all the fucking 9s and 10s from me, even when I bring them here. You eat all. You get the first plate of food from Chef Katie every day. You get the big house. All this shit. I want to fuck the alien first, Logan. Stop. You're a selfish little guy. let me have the first alien sex encounter.
Well,
Okay,
it would
fine,
have to
fine.
be by mutual consent, and I don't know.
No,
that.
of course.
And I'm not sure.
I don't
And
need
I'm not
to
sure.
force any hands.
I'm not sure
What the
that's going to
hell?
be forthcoming, bro. So
He's got game.
maybe.
Oh,
Well, let's see.
yeah.
Trust me, I could spit, dude. Okay,
Okay.
and I ain't gonna be the only forthcoming, if you know what I mean.
Let's see what you're packing. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm an emergency doctor. We see more asses and stuff, and nobody cares.
Have you guys seen the Egyptian hieroglyphs with the helicopters and the spacecraft?
What'd you say just now?
Yeah, you said some
there's
Spanish
Egyptian hieroglyphs of helicopters. Like the Egyptians had clear hieroglyphs of technology that clearly did not exist back then. You guys
stuff.
never
Really?
seen it?
I have.
I pulled him up here for what the
Oh, come on, that's a Black
Come
Hawk.
on, guys.
Like, what's fucking good, dude?
That's a Black Hawk, bro.
And it looks like Kennedy Onassis' speedboat in the top right.
Yo.
Well, you know,
I just figured this out just now.
Let's see what you got.
I can't wait for this.
Something's going on.
We've never been. Hey,
Wait, that's it? No, that was what he had,
bro. Something's going on. Come on now. The Egyptians.
You heard it here. Logan Paul,
drawing
2019.
Blackhawks
Something's going
and
on.
giant moths, bro. Giant moths, bro.
Yeah, that's a big ass moth.
That's a
That is
huge moth.
They were just
alien moth.
they were
ET
just
moth.
portraying things they've seen. Actually, you know, there's some of the writing that was on the wreckage from the craft that went down near Roswell looks very, very similar to hieroglyphics. Very similar.
This is mind blowing.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I have
different ones go to a
I
different
have several
picture?
people on my team before they passed away that we got interviews with them about what they had seen and had handled that.
A different
It was
picture.
like a little, almost like I-beam shaped object that was this weird material that had this kind of writing on it.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. I think if you look at it, there's good evidence, but we've never been alone. But the issue is right now, we have a covert military program that is mismanaging the relationship in a really dangerous way. You asked me, one of this guy at the technology management office, one of the things he told me, aside from the thing that was, they were studying how it cloaked in and out at Fort Sill near Lawton, Oklahoma. He was in Huntsville, Space Flight Center in Alabama, and he was read into a project where we have satellites up there that have electronic weapons on them that can target these ET craft and destroy them in space.
From our satellites.
From a satellite, very dangerous. I mean, there are people who have mismanaged this incipient early relationship.
Do you think that's
between
why they're coming back
us.
less? Because they fear getting shot down?
It's because our technologies have gotten so good that if they come full on 3D, they're likely to be targeted and hit.
Well, I mean, we
So-
suck. That's nothing new.
Yeah, I
He
know, but
says
who's going to fix that? The president? No, the president doesn't have access control. So this is where it's a mass consciousness thing. The people have to fix this problem. Like the people.
And how do you get-
think the
and you-
president fixed the civil rights issue? No, the Kennedy brothers were dragged kicking and screaming into this. It was a bunch of outliers who did that. Same thing with the gay rights movement. Same thing with women. So this issue, in terms of it being disclosed and handled well, is 100% up to the people. We the people, as Thomas Jefferson said. Hello, and so you know, I mean, it's fine to enjoy your cheeseburger and babes,
but you got to
there's a serious
incentivize.
issue here. Yeah.
You got to incentivize because. What are you saying? You're interrupting us. Saying what? It's trying to send. Thank you.
Oh, good.
You got to
Thanks.
incentivize us because
Yeah.
you got me excited. Right?
Here's an incentive.
I was. Hold on. I was not super scared of the attacks or like that we were making the wrong stuff. I didn't really care much. I wouldn't even call my grandma. Remember? Then you told me you don't understand how hot some of these alien girls could be. So, say you want to activate a bunch of weed smokers, for example. Do you understand how good the chronic is on bleak, right?
It's dank.
Like you
It
need,
is
so you
dank.
need to incentivize. Like you can incentivize Logan through female and also trolling the internet, like whatever. Like you got to incentivize.
Yeah, that's more
dude.
important than getting pictures of ETs right now. We got to get pictures of hot ETs.
Aliens. Yes.
Baby,
Yes.
That's what we got to do.
The alien you showed us wasn't attractive enough, mainly because he was a blob of light and shapes.
Dude,
You got to get some ones with some big booties.
like,
That's what people like nowadays.
Yeah, but you know, whether or not that'll ever happen. Actually, I understand there is a civilization that looks extremely similar
To the
to
Kardashians?
humans. Yeah,
Really?
no.
Wait,
really?
You have to have a little bit of class as you go interstellar.
Jonathan,
you know,
food gotta be pissed.
Ouch,
Wait,
should I just say that? I'm sorry.
no, it's all right. You can say whatever you want. It's
Yeah.
impulsive.
Man.
What's this civilization? Do you know the name of them? Just so I'm curious to look it up on
I do
Pornhub.
not. I do not know this. The name
What
of
about
this
the four
particular
different-
species.
So you got the Nordics, the Greys, the reptilians, and
It's all fake.
That's
all.
Alex Jones shit, man.
That's all nonsense. Look, I mean, anyone who
Oh wow.
This is the
isn't
picture.
it beautiful.
So were you guys outside by like a fire, like a campfire?
No. We were out in a very darkened area up at about 5,000 feet in Arizona, and
Up by Flagstaff?
no, the other way south, outside Tucson, up on a mountain.
Okay.
And,
Where's the person on the left? Is this?
He's the guy who had his hearing.
Is he seated though?
He's sitting. The ET was standing. Up,
Is that his
maybe five-
arm right there?
Yeah,
The
and you
black
see that
space?
it looks like a tunic draped there, and then his head is partially in that pixelated area.
Can you zoom in?
So it's and yeah, you can see the eye on the left.
shit! Now I
Yeah, and you
it.
see it's almost like a beak on the front.
Yes.
This is an actual unretouched photograph. So,
Wow.
we have a lot of objects like this, and people think, "Oh, is this really happening?" There's a group of people already making contact with you. I said, "Well, yeah, why not?"
So
They're
he
here.
he did surgery on him, right? Kind of in a way,
I think it
non-invasive
was,
surgery.
what people today would call it would be electromagnetic energy surgery. In
Wow.
other words, it wasn't anything invasive. But he had a hearing loss since he was a teenage.
So if
like
we
middle
if we
school.
got access to this technology, would
It's
we
a beautiful
cure
story.
would we cure every disease? Would we cure
Yes.
sickness?
Yes,
We would
Yes.
cure
Yeah, you think
bad
that would take-
genetics.
yes,
Everything would be
absolutely.
cured.
I think we found your
We found a full color image. of
Is this a
exactly-
guy in the Blue Man group or
Megamind.
something?
No,
I
it's
don't-
Megamind.
Oh, okay, Megamind.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Megamind, but he could be in the blue head group,
I mean,
Could be.
blue head group.
Hey, this is wild. You've affected me, Dr. Greer.
Yeah, no, you did too.
No, you've affected me.
Hey, it's time for the truth out. Yeah.
You know what I especially like that you said today?
What?
The consciousness note.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
not like a crazy conspiracy theorist that's like freaking people out. You know,
Well,
you
I mean,
got
why?
an actionable solution.
Yeah,
I respect
but
that.
we have other responsibilities besides the shock and awe and drivel. That's 99.9% of the subject. I mean, look, we're going to have to figure out. Do we want to go forward as a civilization or not?
Right.
And this issue is central to that, believe it or not. That's why I left my medical career. You know what it is to go through medical school and residency and build up your career and then abandon it to do this. I'm not doing it because, I'm just trying to, entertain people with nonsense. This is a really, really critical issue. It has to do with science, technology, the future, our relationship with in space, how we go forward as a species, but also the development of conscious life on this planet that is at a level where we can interface with these other civilizations in a meaningful way, not just chasing them with a F-16 trying to blow them out of the sky, you dumbass stuff like that.
What is the most dangerous information that you know?
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what I told the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency in his office.
One and the
General
same.
Patrick Hughes.
Me and that guy.
Pretend that you're him.
Okay.
The first question he asked me was, "We don't understand why you haven't committed suicide yet." To me. And I said, well, because I don't need to do that. Because his father had, knowing what I'm about to tell you. And that is that there's a group of people who control this issue that are trying to sort of agent provocateur, to provoke an interplanetary incident. So the next war, World War III, will be interplanetary. And there is a serious group of nut jobs, and they have to be put on a leash and stood down fast and quickly. And the trigger, when unacknowledged, hit hundreds of millions of people seeing it. This group started releasing stuff to the CNN and Washington Post and New York Times under cover of a group that from a boy that I used to teach on this named Tom DeLong, the Blink-182 guy.
Oh yeah,
And
he's huge on the
okay. But what happened is that his interest got hijacked by militarists whose every bit of information they're putting out has to spin, it's a threat to the national security, our sovereignty has been invaded. It's the kind of brainwashing that's already started to try to convince the public there is an alien threat. Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, on his deathbed, he said to a member of my team who is his right-hand assistant and spokesperson for the last few years of his life, said, they're going to hoax an alien threat, I'm quoting, and it's all a lie. So we are actually in the last year at the point where they've started on that plan.
Well,
and that's why we're doing this next documentary.
Is that through movies?
We have got to intercept this plan and stop it. Or if you think 9/11 and the Iraq War was a clusterfuck, this is going to be that 1,000 times worse. So, and I'm telling you, I'm not trying to scare people. But, you know, the future of what we're going to do and have on this plan is hanging in the balance, and we're going to have to wake up.
Was that like that
quickly.
Was that H.G. Wells?
Yeah, the War of the Worlds
was
nonsense.
That similar? Was that like kind of in that vein?
And like
it's more like, you ever see the movie Independence Day?
Of course.
That was right out of central scripting from the CIA, because, I mean, you know, let's unite the world around an alien threat. Go Google Ronald Reagan's address to the United Nations when he said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, wouldn't our job of creating a world peace and unity be easier if we had a common alien threat to unite against?
He said that?
Yes, Reagan. It's in the unacknowledged documentary.
Well,
everyone go see it. If you don't have Netflix, it's on iTunes. It's everywhere. So my point is that mindset is what's been driving this train for 70 years. And if somebody else doesn't step up, and not me, I mean, I'm getting old. I'm, you know, like so I just turned 64. So it's like, you know, my days are numbered, TikTok, a countdown. But we're going to have a whole lot of people step forward and fix this problem. Oh, Ronald Reagan. Oh, you don't want to look at 4 hours of you know.
No, it's like 50.
So
it's
is
45 seconds.
No, not 4 hours of howdy
45
doody.
seconds. No, it's not.
Is your biggest goal in short to not only communicate but also to let people know that these dudes are our homies. Like, these are our homies.
Yeah,
dude.
they are no threat. But right. I'll tell you, it's going to be spun by the people who are what Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex.
Yep,
so, you know, I mean, look, you know, there's trillions of dollars at stake in terms of keeping it secret from the point of view of energy, petrodollar, and what have you. There's more trillions at stake in terms of military spending to gin up a threat.
All for
and
power.
I'm all look. My closest friends who have helped me with this project are all career military and CIA people, but they're deeply worried about this, seriously. And you know, that's what keeps them awake at night, and that's what keeps me awake at night.
So, what do you mean by interplanetary warfare, and who are the people that are in this secret group?
You want some names?
Yes, Alex Jones.
Okay.
Well, it's the 5th time I said that.
You know. Historically, I mentioned Papa Bush was on this committee. Dick Cheney is on this committee.
Halburn.
Former CIA director Dick Helms, very involved in the good old days. One of the few billionaires in the world at the end of World War II who was an avowed fascist until the end of the war was Paul Mellon.
Yeah. And
then he, with Alan Dulles, founded this committee and the CIA. And so those folks have been involved, and their families and connections. There are other people. Admiral Bobby Ray Inman was a man that I tried to get to come forward. He was the director of the National Security Agency and deputy director CIA. He wouldn't do it. He went on the board of Science Applications International Corporation down here in La Jolla, California. It's one of the crown jewels of the contracting that does all the man-made UFOs. By the way, a lot of the things you see out there, they're ours. They're EMGs, electromagnetic-gravitic craft, that are man-made, top-secret craft that are based on having studied not only ET craft, but the early work of some of the geniuses like T. Townsend Brown, who you know, the RAND think tank was founded on. Who, you know, he in 1928 or 9, he had a high voltage system around a crystalline structure, and the thing started levitating. And that's in the 20s.
What's that?
So there's some cool technology. Maybe that'll be the next documentary, The Lost Century. Yeah. All the technologies that have existed since Tesla. By the way, the Tesla you're buying, it's a Musk. It's not a Tesla. A Tesla would never have to be plugged in. It'd be pulling energy from the energy field around it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we hope to come out with a real Tesla.
He said it's a Musk.
So what about...
It's a Musk. It's fine. It's cool. It's fun.
Well, yeah, when he died, they raided all of his
shit.
Yeah,
I have that document.
Laboratories.
I have the document. So the Department of Defense was furious because the FBI went in and took Nikola Tesla's secret papers when he died. And I have a document where the Department of Defense is demanding that the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover turn that stuff over. And basically, the FBI said, Screw you. We're not giving you anything. So there's a bunch of fiefdoms out there also. Don't think that this is some kind of coherent.
We deal with that too with like different fandoms.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Dobrik fandom. Or
where can we see?
You know, when I lived in the Middle East, they said if you had 3 people together, you had 4 political parties, right?
Yeah. What's Trump's
first off, real quick? Where can we find that the Tesla papers, or is that exclusive?
It's in my archive. You know, at some point we'll have to organize all this. Okay, here's another thing. My wife, who will be 71 in December, and I, in our part of our living room, run this project. No funding, no staff, no offices. It's all volunteers. So it's a very quaint little story. And that's the truth. So it's a labor of love. So we don't have, there's a lot that we need to have organized if we had some people to help work in there and organize it. You wouldn't believe the stuff I have in my vault. I mean, parts of ETs and parts of spacecraft and cool stuff.
Dude, we got to take a visit. We got to come up.
Yeah, come out and we'll take you on a trip to.
We got to get this exposed.
Yeah, we got to.
We got the low gang out here that's ready to dent the universe with this kind of information.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
literally.
Hey, and everyone listening, what we want to do in the next year, December 16th, here in DC, here in LA at LA Live, we're going to have the premiere of this next documentary. It's going to be mind-blowing.
This year?
Yeah,
cool.
December 16th this year. So put it on your calendars.
Yeah, we should be there.
And this documentary will be out for the public at that point. But then I hope sometime next year we're trying to organize a global contact and disclosure music festival with a bunch of rock bands, because a number of them have reached out to us. If you guys know anyone to be part of it, I have someone who's on the work.
You should get a group called Disclosure.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. And there were a lot of people, like even old rockers, like, Aerosmith, that Steven Tyler was on Joe Rogan talking about Unacknowledged. I mentioned it 12 times. You have folks like Godsmack, Sully and I have hung out, and he may come out with us to the desert pretty soon.
You think the aliens like Nickelback?
Yeah, probably do. And Nickelback's into this, and Chris Daltrey's into all this.
I want to go meditate in the desert.
Radiohead is super into all. There are a lot of groups that are into this, but we need to find people who can reach out to them. Kind of go around some of their managers and agents, because they're all such
aliens managers.
No, not them. These and put this big music thing together, and then let's stream it online. Let's have 100 million people see it and do something really cool.
It's big, yeah. That's what we need to do. When's the next desert trip that we can go?
I haven't planned it yet, because until I get this documentary finished, I don't want to pull the trigger on it. Besides, when I announce it, those fill up in 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
But we'll put you on an early notification list, Tom.
Yeah.
But it's there are only 25 people go out with me.
Yeah, I want to go.
Come on, let us be 3 of them.
I used to be, more people, but it's too hard for me to manage, and I'm not 35 anymore, so.
I want to go.
It's too chaotic when it's a huge crowd, But it's a beautiful experience, because it's not only a great experience personally in terms of your experience, but you're with a group of people out in these beautiful settings where we have E.T. Craft come over, beans pop up, around us. People have amazing experiences, but it's all centered in the concept of the non-locality of consciousness in time and space. Non-locality meaning, that cool experiment they did where they took a photon and split it in half. So they had 2, and then they had 2 identical photons that had been one. And in CERN in Geneva, and they separated by 14 miles. And then they kind of moved one, and the other one at the same instant with no time lag moved. So it turns out that the whole cosmos and all of us in it, through consciousness and what's called non-locality in physics, are interconnected. That's the secret of how these interstellar civilizations are traveling and communicating. So that's what we have to kind of catch up to what quantum.
Well, that's what we were talking about in the kitchen the other night. Cool. I was saying there's a lot of waves that are about to hit that humanity is just so not even aware of yet.
Well, we've been purposely kept dumb. Let's face it. This stuff was I have a guy who on my team before he passed away. He was the man who invented like a headset like this. That would be an electronically assisted remote viewing device. So in other words, you could put this thing on, there was a certain electronic frequency, and people could see with their consciousness remote places.
Come on.
And that's 100% true. That's not science fiction.
I was talking about...
It's like really, really the deep end of amazing science.
I was just trying to get an Oculus Rift recently where I could watch porn in 3D, but I'd love to see some remote shit, dude.
Yeah. You could watch it. You could remote view porn.
No, stop. So I can see what's going on in Studio City when Riley's doing her next.
Then you're going to be.
Get me a set of those electromagnetic hadron colliders.
Then you're an interstellar peeping Tom perv. So don't do that.
Well,
no. We're not going to do that.
I am what I am. I can't.
That's not cool.
You're gonna.
We're not going to do
Interstellar peeping Tom perv.
No.
You ever been inside the hadron collider?
I have not.
Well, of course you haven't, because you'd be dead. Because it's full on proton and just anarchy in there.
Only when it's operating.
Only when it's operating.
I was just talking the other night though about there's these devices that are coming out. I mean, this like people have been working on this for a long time. They're frequency devices that can target strains of disease in your body and heal it.
Mm-hmm.
Without any medicine, without any pharmaceuticals, just through a frequency. And it's like Tesla said, it was killed. If you understood energy, frequency, and vibration, right? You would understand, you would hold the key to the universe.
Super cool stuff.
Look at when Logan gets a call from his lawyers, what it says. It screams at him. Liars! Liars!
I love how that piece of wisdom that we just talked about.
It was like this radio.
So deep and meaningful.
Well, you were talking about curing stuff with singularities and wisdom trees.
Yeah,
and
it was like
the single most important thing in the universe.
Because here's the deal, Spencer. I need fucking proof, okay? I understand that people are like, all right, here's the deal, man. I'm telling you right now that people are launching magnetic frequency waves to kill herpes, okay? Well, what the fuck, dude?
I'll bring you the proof. I'll bring you the proof. I'll bring you the pudding.
The
proof is in the pudding.
Okay.
And I'll bring you the pudding.
I got the pudding on the aliens right here.
Yeah.
Dude. He's a
lot of
Swiss Miss sitting right in front of me. Dude.
We got it right. We have all the evidence for this. I think the bigger question with all these technologies are, the question is, they have to be vetted properly, and that's your point is a right one. Making a statement doesn't prove it. And I tell people, don't take my word for any of this. Go to the website, go look at unacknowledged, go look at the documents that have been declassified, look at the testimony of some of the most courageous men in the world that had top secret clearances that we have dozens of now that are on videotape telling what happened at these facilities. You don't have to listen to sort of, internet gossip anymore, because what I've spent, 20, 30 years doing is putting together that body of evidence, which of course in an hour here, we don't have time to go through, but it's there. Yep. It's there for anyone to see.
He one-ups the flat earthers to a place where I actually can get on with all this, because when I don't know if you know.
I think he like 3,000.
Oh, 3,000. But let me just explain where I was going quickly.
I'm flattered. I'm up with the flat Earth people.
He said I'm flattered. Get it? Flattered. What I meant by that was they always used to tell us, don't take our word for it, do your own research. But they never told people like where to do the how to do it. You say, look at what I'm showing you, like it's right in front of you.
Well,
so
does anyone have YouTube? Just go to our channel. We've got like 70 of these top secret guys' testimony up there.
I want to go check it out.
Okay, it's youtube.com/S disclosure. S like Steve, disclosure, and it's there. So we put things out as transparently as we can. The only things I cannot put out is like if there's a top secret guy like this technology management office and he wants to give me information and details. He's terrified of being identified publicly. I've told him I don't think there's any risk anymore, but I can't force him. So I've met with he and his son, both military. And so I respect, and they will share, because I'm a medical doctor. They trust that I'm not going to tell someone something I shouldn't.
Break that HIPAA law.
Yeah.
So you protect your assets. I mean, that's why you get what you get.
I've never violated trust.
There you go.
Never. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, man. Let's do audio only. That was a lot. It's like this, but it's just audio only instead of the visual.
Wow.
But
okay,
technology.
That was a lot to digest. No, seriously, thank you so much, Dr. Greer. You've affected me in a very positive way. I got a lot of things to digest and think about. Where can they find you on social media? Do you have any call to actions? Do you want them to go to your website?
What we really need, like I said, everything we've done has been through donations and just crowdfunding. So ce5film.com, people can go there and support what we're doing to get this next one done and out. We have 3 more months before it'll be wrapped up.
Right here?
Yeah.
CE5film.com, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, Contact Consciousness in the Human Future.
That's it. That's the next one. And it's fun. I don't know how much we've raised. It's about $490.
Holy shit.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this crowd is out here.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're not there yet, but we need to get there. The more that we can have, the more we can also get the word out about it. And one of the things with Unacknowledged that's kind of weird is that we only had like $80,000 for marketing it, but it's been seen by several 100 million people. Now, a lot of those are on black sites, but even on Netflix, it's millions and millions of people have seen it. So we're really lucky that because it's by word of mouth, because we don't have a Hollywood marketing budget where they spend millions of dollars on stuff like they do. So we need help with that. I would ask people to look at our primary site, which is this, and there's an app you can get that actually trains you in the remote viewing and consciousness work to form your own contact team and go out and do that. Oh, and it's an app that's, it needs to be updated, I'll admit it, but a volunteer put it together. Everything we have is really amateur. Got it. Because it's volunteer people. And I'm an idiot with tech stuff. Got it. That's my grandson's awesome. I'm a moron.
I don't believe that one bit. All right, very cool, very cool.
He's got jokes.
Hey, check out all the stuff. We're going to do audio only right now on Spotify and iTunes. Thank you for listening to Impaulsive, the #1 podcast in the world. We'll see you guys. Peace.
We never talked about what does interplanetary war look like? What does that mean?
Oh, shit. Are we getting fried?
Like, are we...
Do we want that smoke? No. Probably not.
No, actually what would happen, it would all be done under false flag scenarios.